Good evening. Welcome to the Green Local School District Board of Education meeting for December. Mrs. Snowberger, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Hurdlick.
Here.
Mr. Cohen.
Yes, here.
Mrs. Fanelly.
Here.
Mrs. Stoynoff.
Here.
Thank you. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since we have no awards and recognitions this evening, we'll move right on into the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Fanelli.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hurdlick. Mrs. Snowberger.
Mrs. Fanelli.
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick.
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We have no need for executive session at this time. Any visitors that would like to speak on behalf of the agenda that was just passed? If so, make yourself known. If not, we'll continue forward. Looks like we're going to move on. Item number 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry about that. It's not usually in the recognition of public participation. And seeing none, we'd like to invite Safety City and the Green Rotary to come forward. Oh, yeah. You can't be a visitor if you're on the agenda. Come on now.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Miller, thank you. My name is Kristen Lewis, and I am here today on behalf of the Rotary Club of Green. I'm here for 2 reasons. Number one, I wanted to inform people that a Rotary Club has been reestablished in the city of Green. We are really excited about it. We meet on Wednesday mornings at 7:30 a.m. at Akron General Lifestyles. Mr. Miller has been attending and coming to our meetings, so I'd like to thank him for making sure that I get in here today. I feel like I'm echoing. The other reason I'm here today is I believe that Mr. Miller has discussed with you our idea regarding a permanent safety city in the city of Green. By way of history, we had started working on reestablishing the Rotary Club in Green back in March of 2017, so just this year. And the mayor had come to one of our meetings, and he had suggested to us that we get a purpose in the city. There's a lot of great organizations, there's a lot of great leaders here in the city, but he decided that we needed to have a purpose. So I'm pleased to say that we have been volunteering at Green Good Neighbors. We have been volunteering at Blessings in a Backpack, which are amazing organizations that we have here in the city. However, we wanted to do something as the Rotary Club of Green. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I was not familiar with Safety City. I moved to Ohio in 2001, and I moved to the city of Green about 7 years ago. I have 2 children in the system, one's in 4th grade and one's in 1st grade, and I am sad to say that neither one of my children went to Safety City. And I'm not sure if it's because we just missed it as busy parents who both work, or what the case may be. So when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do as a Rotary Club, a new established Rotary Club, I thought, Safety City. I know that other Rotary clubs in other communities have done it. Specifically, Norton and North Olmsted is both run by their local Rotary clubs. Mr. Miller had been present at one of our meetings, and we were discussing it, and it's my understanding that he has discussed it with you at some point. What I am here to do today is not necessarily bringing you concrete plans or anything like that, but is more to put the idea out there and make sure that I can answer any questions, although they may be limited because we haven't had a formal discussion yet, but also for purposes of trying to figure out if there's anything or any concerns that you as a school board may have. We have individuals in our club who are insurance agents who are looking at it from the insurance perspective. We have individuals in our club who are in construction. We have one individual who is in fundraising. So we have a lot of people to draw from. Plus, with Mr. Miller sitting on the board and serving as superintendent of schools, he can serve as liaison. It's also my understanding that he has also spoken with your legal department, and so we've had that communication going already as well. We are really excited about potentially making this a reality. When Mr. Miller came and spoke to our Rotary Club a few months ago, one of the things he indicated was that he had spoken with his principals at GPS as well as Greenwood about whether or not, as principals and teachers, could you fit this into your curriculum? And my understanding is there was a resounding yes. So that's exciting as well. So I will take any questions that you may have. I may not be able to answer them here today, but my purpose is to take the questions back to our Rotary group, as well as to our fundraising person, Jean Ann. And if there's anything that we can maybe discuss in the future, we're more than happy to. But we want to, more than anything, hopefully receive your blessing to make this a reality for our community.
Can you maybe, for those that are going to be watching this on TV, explain what Safety City is, just in general overview?
Sure. So my understanding of Safety City, and again, my children didn't do it, but my understanding of Safety City is it's an opportunity for our students, and I should add, we've also spoken to the Summit County Sheriff's Department because they are the one who does the Safety City here in Greene. They bring everything to the GPS facility, Greenwood GPS facility, and they put it together sometime in the summer, is my understanding. And what it is an opportunity for our kindergartners, and I would submit to you, hopefully maybe even older children as we go down the line, to learn how to interact with other members of the community, to learn how to cross the road safely, to look both ways when there's cars coming, how to get on and off the bus. There's also, what we would like to do is, safety cities have been around for a while. Well, we now live in the era of technology. And what we would like to do is make the safety city a smart city, put solar panels in so that could do the electricity that we need, and maybe other smart board type aspects to make it up to date with what we're dealing with in our community these days.
How would what your conception of Safety City is, how would that differ from what they currently do?
What would be different is that it would be a permanent structure. So what we would be looking for is a piece of property, either through the school board or through the city, on site, either at GPS or at Greenwood. I know there was some discussion about an area behind Greenwood close to the baseball field that's back there. And it would be a permanent structure that children and members of the community could use, well, I don't want to say 24/7, but on a more regular basis. The way the Safety City is currently set up now, it comes into the city of Greene for maybe a week, and then it goes away. If you're familiar with the GPS Greenwood, it's that area in the parking lot between the two where all the lines are set up. What we would like to do is put permanent facilities there. We would go to local leaders, local business owners, and see if they would be willing to maybe put an Edward Jones Way in, or put in something, some type, maybe McDonald's, don't want to put any pressure on anybody, but some type of community aspect to it. So that way we would have that aspect as well, how to, interact in the community at these public locations.
Would Summit County Sheriff still be involved?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We've spoken, I believe her name's Sergeant Lee, we've spoken with, Jean Ann, who... Deputy Lee, sorry.
Yes. I remember the song, Deputy Lee. That's right.
Deputy
Jean
Chief.
Ann, who has had a lot of those conversations, she's actually on vacation today with her little one, but she has had those conversations with Deputy Lee regarding what type of concept. We don't want to change anything necessarily. We want to work hand in hand with them, but make it a more permanent structure for our community.
I think they had that Safety City for the little ones with bicycles, for bicycle safety. I
That too.
remember. Yeah, I remember them having the bicycle was the main thing, how to stop and start and look both ways when you cross the street and all that, and then bring the bicycles into it also.
Right.
So you would need a large area for if you had bicycles.
That is, yes, I would agree. That's correct. And I don't know if anybody's been to the one in Stowe. It's fairly large. It's not huge. My children used to play at it when we lived up in the Stowe area, and it's a nice facility. There's not a lot of upkeep, which is the good news. If you're going to be putting in some type of plywood or brick type of structures that would hopefully be underfunded by maybe local businesses, hopefully that could help with any type of overhead that we would have.
And that's probably the biggest thing for us, the sustainability and that kind of thing, upkeep, making sure that it's maintained at a level that's acceptable to everyone as well.
Absolutely, and I understand that. That is one of the things that we discussed, that we would want to make sure that there's definitely interaction, not just with the Rotary Club, but between the school as well as the city, to make sure we're all working hand in hand to make sure that happens, as well as with the business owners. If they're putting in you know, a street or a building, I'm hoping that they would want to make sure that it stays in good repair as well.
So the goal of the program would be to incorporate into the curriculum of our schools, and our staff would be teaching? Is that the,
That's one of the purposes. If the schools can use it, obviously it would be on school property. It would be something that they would be able to utilize. We would hope that they would be wanting and able to do that in some form or fashion, whether it be a gym class even, you know, something that they could use in their curriculum.
Jeff, would that be also like recess type of a thing where?
I mean, certainly it could be. I think the greatest discussion we had is with safety being so important. Right now, the way it works, you have to be home during the week over the summer where they offer it, and then once it's gone, it's gone. So for anybody coming in after that week, or if you have a conflict, all of those kids don't get the experience. So by having a safety city that is proximate to the schools, you open up a lot of possibilities where now students that missed it can be going over that, and whether it's during the school day or not, which I do think through PE, through some of recess activities, it certainly could be utilized. But I think just having more children exposed to, you know, what side of the road you should be walking on, where to ride, what side of the road to ride a bike, and some of those basic principles. I know the Summit County Sheriff, when we talked to them, they're really excited about having more of a permanent structure in Green to be able to take that 1 week and just, you know, make it a lot greater.
Yeah, because I mean, there's other opportunities too, leadership-wise. So if your kids missed it going through it, they can be like little instructors kind of thing that go through there.
Right.
So and I think most of the high school, there's a lot of high school kids that do
They
that.
do. I know my
Really
neighbor
enjoy
across the street, she did it this summer. She was one of the instructors at Safety City. But to Mr. Miller's point, it is 1 week. And if
Right.
you're not here, if you miss the flyer, whatever the case may be, you know, I tend to, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I tend to be pretty attentive to my kids' stuff. And so the fact that I missed it not once, but twice, either I was on vacation or football season got started, whatever the case may be, but we completely missed it. So I would like to have something for everybody that could do. And, you know, honestly, it could even go past the school with other members of the community. And that's what we're looking forward to, is having that interaction between the community and the school.
What kind of timeline are you guys? Are you like, you know, getting things put together to do to construct it, you know, this summer, next summer? What do you like? What's your group thinking?
Well, our group, our what they call it, BHAG, our big hairy goals that we would like to have would be for us to move forward as soon as possible. There are a few logistics that obviously need to happen. A, land. B, sponsors. C, ideas. And that was one thing I failed to mention. Rotary International / the Rotary clubs in this local area who have done it, we have been in connection with to discuss how they did it, the funding that was needed, things along those lines. So we've already taken those initial steps as well. To be honest with you, we didn't want to go too far without having something more permanent either with the school or with the city. But we are moving forward by having these conversations with Mr. Miller, the legal department. We've looked into insurance, and we've also talked to Deputy Lee. So we've moved along those ways. Jean Ann is going to be focusing on the fundraising and speaking with local leaders. She is connected, thankfully, with those kind of things and very good at it. So we're going to let her take that role on, but those are what we've been moving forward.
And size-wise, like the piece of how big of a space you need, and are you guys still kind of working on that, or is it more like, here's what we have, can you design it within those parameters, or a little bit?
Kind of B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the space that we're looking at is, if it would be okay, is the space between Greenwood, the playground, and the baseball field that's on the back end, without interrupting outfield. But thankfully, that's a T-ball field, and they don't go too far. So
They might just like keep running past the
yeah,
ball.
they might.
know,
Or you know
go
what? Then they'll
play
run into Safety City. But no, that space I think would probably be pretty good. I think, Mr. Miller, you may have gotten the
Yeah, it
parameters
was
on that.
just under a couple acres.
Yeah. And we, like I said, our insurance guy has looked into that, so what that would cost. Because there's also the idea of security. We would have to put up a fence of some sort, depending upon how the school wants to play that. I mean, I know around the playgrounds, some of them, specifically Greenwood, does have a fence, other ones do not. So that type of thing would have to be looked at as well. Anything else? Anything you would like me to take back?
Probably the biggest thing that we've seen when we're doing projects and stuff is that everybody is very grateful for any of the community involvement, but sometimes the private sector is used to doing it a particular way versus the public sector, and which goes at about a quarter of that speed. So sometimes it's a pretty regimented process with us.
Understood.
And having dealt with some of the other groups doing big projects or other projects, that's probably the biggest piece of what is taking so long to get
Right.
that done. So some of that preliminary stuff and the architectural stuff, I'm sure that they understand that they're part of that. But as long as we're all kind of in that thing of kind of learning each other's process, I think that'd be extremely helpful.
Well, with Mr. Miller being a member of our organization, as well as Jean Ann has worked in the public sector almost her entire career. She did work in some private, but she has worked in the public sector almost exclusively, so she will be really in tune with what you all need. Our goal is to work together. If we can do it this summer, great. If it's next summer, whatever's the best for the schools and the children, that is our focus.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on. Item 6, the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of November 20th, 2017?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoynoff. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fanelly. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Stoynoff,
Yes.
Mrs. Fanelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item 7, the financial report. Item A, the superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the financial report and payment of bills as presented by the treasurer. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Second.
And thank you, Mr. Hurdlick. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Fanelli.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item B, the superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the Summit County Fiscal Office to make advance payments of tax funds for tax year 2017 payable in 2018 to Green Local Schools per Ohio Revised Code 321.34. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fanelli. Mrs. Snowberger, is there an English translation to this?
English translation is as the taxpayers start paying their property tax bills, instead of waiting for that to close and the county office to reconcile it, a lot of entities that receive levied funds, they need the money for cash flow. So as the money starts coming in, they'll take a percentage, put it aside, and they'll keep paying us incremental payments until the actual settlement comes. But you have to get approval from the board first for that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Fanelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item C, approve the donation from traveling classrooms from Canton, Ohio in the amount of $1,000 to the Green Middle School. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hurdlick and Mrs. Stoynoff. Questions or comments about that?
Just real quickly, this is for the 8th grade trip. They generously donate $1,000 back to the middle school, and I just want to thank all of those staff that volunteered to chaperone our students. It was another successful trip, and looking forward to next year. And if you're interested, I think they have some openings
Sign up.
for chaperones.
I heard Mrs. Stoynoff's
I
coming
don't know
back.
why he's looking at me.
Mrs. Snowberger?
Mr. Hurdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Fanelli.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 8, the new business, the consent calendar note. Items under the consent calendar are considered routine and being acted upon under one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes unless the board member requests an item be clarified or even removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Do I have a motion to approve the calendar as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Fanelli.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hurdlick. Mr. Miller, any questions or comments?
I just want to call our attention to Jill Lehman. She's on here. She's served the district as a teacher for over 30 years, and at the conclusion of this school year, she will be moving on to retirement. So we just wish her well, and certainly she's impacted so many of our students' lives. So we just thank her and appreciate and hope that she has a great swan song here in 2017-18.
And then just as a note, a lot of the policies, a lot of that is just bringing them in line with state legislature as they adjust things here and there. And
Yeah,
making
so-
sure that we have policies in place that.
Right, the majority of these are due to legislation, and then we're obviously needing to fall in line with that, so that's what the majority of these on here do.
Okay, thank you.
And if people wanted to read these policies, they would go,
They'll eventually,
once they're approved.
once they're approved, they'll make their way onto the website.
Thank you. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Fanelli?
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes,
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you. Oh, I think that's it. Oh, I'm like, well, okay, sorry.
He's skipping things earlier.
It's like, sorry about that.
He's already on vacation.
What's that?
You're already on vacation.
It's just like, dang. For board accommodations, Mr. Hurdlick, why don't you start us out this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. This is a season of giving, obviously, and it's always better to give than receive. And it's great to see our students continue to do things in the community, giving back. Our varsity cheerleaders this past weekend got together and made some beautiful blankets to donate to Children's Hospital. Obviously, a child in a hospital during Christmas is never a good thing. But Children's Hospital does a fantastic job taking care of the kids that are there. And they take donations like this that then get to the kids that are there over Christmas. So I just wanted to shout out to the varsity cheerleaders for their generous donation to the kids at Children's Hospital. Also, our boys and girls basketball team is off to a good start this year. Had the chance to go to the McKinley game on Friday, a very entertaining game at the field house. I think first time ever that Green has beaten McKinley. So a good start for them. It was a very good game, very entertaining, back and forth game. So girls basketball team didn't quite do as well that night, but also I think that was their first loss of the season, I believe. So good start to that, and plenty of other winter sports with the wrestling and the bowling. So over the Christmas break, if you guys get a chance to get out there and support our teams, it's always something going on there. Wanted to thank Bob from Traveling Classrooms for his donation back to the middle school for the $1,000. They do a great job putting that trip on. That's one of those things, as being a chaperone for many years, as Mr. Booth would know. Katie, not so much. I don't think you were paying attention that one year. But you literally just have to get on the bus and go. They take care of everything from start to finish, get our kids there, expose them to many things there in D.C. as we can, and get them home safely. So great organization, and appreciate the $1,000 donation back to the middle school. Green Primary School, congratulations to the staff members there. They won the Green Schools Foundation free breakfast again this year. I believe that's the third year in a row. The middle school was really close this year, so it was a battle there, but the primary held once again. So all of us at the foundation appreciate the support of all the staff here at Green Local Schools. Obviously, we appreciate that support as we support everyone here at the school. Also, the Green Schools Foundation did award their this section's classroom grants of $5,600 to different programs within the school. So that went out. That was awarded here last week. So those should be implemented here for the next quarter. Just additional programming for our students, obviously no cost to the district that the foundation supports. So we continue to look forward to those. What else do we got? Other than that, it's obviously the holiday season. The kids, I'm sure, are looking forward to the next couple days to finish things up with their exams and enjoy the holidays. So I'd like to wish everyone happy holidays and a happy new year, and be safe traveling and enjoy your families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Mr. Cohen?
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Just wanted to thank everybody for putting on a great choir concert on December 9th. For anybody that attended, they got to see a lot of fantastic music. It was a combined choir concert, fifth grade choir all the way through high school. Had everything from middle school men's glee to GHS ensemble, and it was quite an event. There was a fundraising event that happened throughout the morning, which was a huge success, and just want to thank the administration for always making these events so great, and the kids did a wonderful job. If anybody's interested in seeing the videos from the events, they are at our Facebook page, which is Green Local Schools Performing Arts Facebook page, as well as on Twitter at GLS Perform Arts. And it's we try to record as many of those events as possible, and it's a nice way for grandparents and other people out of town to be able to see the events. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Wow. All right,
I was
that's kinda
busy
quick.
grading this whole week. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Fanelly.
Well, I'd like to say a special thanks to Greenwood's Mrs. Campbell and Mrs. Parrott for all their efforts for another successful year of Polar Express performances. And it was amazing to watch our youngest Bulldogs developing into talented performers. This was my third year, and you guys do a great job. And I can't imagine a holiday season without this wonderful little program. It was really nice. And most of us are familiar with the different organizations painting and hiding rocks with positive messages. I don't know if any of you have ever found those little rocks that they hide around. My husband finds, I think, all of them. I've never found one, but he always finds them and then gives them to their grandkids or whatever. But anyway, Mr. Trezino and Mrs. Shockley's classes put a different spin on that concept, and they're creating special bookmarks with requests for random acts of kindness. And so the bookmarks were placed in various books of the Green Branch Library, hoping avid readers will discover, complete the act of kindness, and then rehide the bookmarks. So I'll never find any of those either. But anyway. So anyway.
Out more, I think.
And I'm sorry, could you clarify, your husband's a rock collector now?
Yes,
What's
he's
going on?
now a rock collector. He's retired, so now he's a rock collector.
Excellent,
And he's
okay.
excellent at it.
Okay.
Anyway, so happy holidays to everybody, and I hope everybody has a great break.
Thank you, Mrs. Fanelli. Mrs. Stoynoff.
I just wanted to acknowledge that I had the opportunity to go to the Children's Hospital, Akron Children's Hospital Tree Festival, and we had two groups from Green participate there. Intervention specialist Cindy Young led 13 of her students with a tree-themed Winter Wonderland. It was beautiful. This is their 7th year participating, and they did all the pre-wiring of the decorations and really had a great time putting everything together. The GHS Art Club also designed and created a tree titled Cosmos Christmas, and it received the Ribbon Award as Most Awesome Tree. The tree featured hand-painted marbled ornaments that were planets, an asteroid belt, 2 alien flying saucers, complete with a 50-style era rocket blasting off from the top of the tree. The funds for putting the tree together were generated by creating and selling Art Club t-shirts to Art Club members. Also, the Art Club is going to be participating in a lock-in that we just approved, where they're going to be painting a banner that will be unveiled at a drop for First Night in downtown Akron. It's a 5 by 14 foot panel that'll be created, and our panel will be dropped from the side of the old O'Neill's parking deck. If you have lived in Akron long enough to know where O'Neill's is, if not the now Rotzel and Andrus building, the parking deck behind it, it'll be dropped there December 26th at 7 p.m. if you're interested in seeing that. Other than that, good luck to the high school students who are finishing finals over the next couple days, I should say, and happy holidays and happy new year to everyone.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoynoff. A couple things just to add to that. On that, the same Saturday, we've kind of gone to that whole music concept thing where the choirs sing in the morning, then the bands come in and sing or perform in the afternoon. And it's really having had kids kind of in different spots, it's unbelievably convenient. However, it's a great way to, to get everybody involved and just kind of have a whole day of just enjoying the talents that are in the district, both from an instrumental and a vocal side. All of our directors do a absolutely great job, and it's kind of a fun day to kind of look forward to and see all the different levels of musicians throughout the day to performing on that. One of the things that I like to mention is we've had a little taste of winter over the last week sometime. I think, I'm not sure, I wasn't up too early, but Mr. Miller I think was 4 o'clock or something. But really like to a big, huge shout out to our transportation people. There was the way the snow hit. I think the first day was kind of odd because at 20 after 6 there was really no snow. Then all of a sudden it was that sleety, snowy type stuff, and there was just no way that you could have anticipated that. And yeah, the buses might have been a little bit late, or it might have been a little bit trafficky. But the one thing that I think we can always count on our transportation folks is that the safety of our kids is at the forefront of everything that we do, both from an administration as well as those who are actually out there on the front line, collecting our children and that kind of stuff. And I just can't say enough of great things about how well they did, and getting the kids where they needed to go, albeit maybe a minute or two late. But the other part to that is that they kept in contact, I think, with all of the different media outlets that we have, in terms of making sure that, hey, be patient on the way home, that the buses are a little bit late running through there, or, even at the beginning of school, where they're not counting kids, absent and or tardy by minutes now, I guess, for that kind of thing, when there's really nothing they can do. And of course, all of us would just, we'd all say, like I said to my daughter the one morning, it doesn't really, I didn't want to say it doesn't matter when you get there, but, that part is just make sure you're driving as safely as possible. And when you get there, then you get there. And that I'd much rather you get there a little bit late than get there via ambulance or something. So, I just appreciate the administration doing that and making sure that our kids' safety comes first. Really, the only other thing, the last thing that I'll add to that is that there's a lot of opportunities during the holidays and stuff like that to volunteer, to get involved. Personally, I've had the opportunity to do a couple things here recently that really are, in all honesty, they're life-changing events, and they're out there, and there's people out there that are grateful for it. And I think the people that volunteer and do things probably get more out of it than what it is of the recipients. And it really is, it's amazing to, even hear from the Rotary, the newly established Rotary people that are jumping in there with both feet and getting involved with some of the great programs that are in the community, and just jumping forward with some great ideas of how to get involved. And it's, take the time to do that, take the time to enjoy, the time and the season and the family and all that kind of good stuff. So, Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you have a great holiday and Happy New Year. And that's all we got. I think January 8th is our organizational and next meeting for next year. So, oh, and Happy Hanukkah. That's right. Sorry. Other than that, we don't have any need for executive session this evening. So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoynoff.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Mrs. Snowberger.
Mrs. Stoynoff?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli?
Yes.
Mr. Herdlick?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.